7 months of peace and quiet. Alright. I've still got it. And I also still have this.
Shut up. We're talking about this WoW versus Final Fantasy XIV kerfuffle, you nerds. Roll the intro.
My door!
Screw your door. I said intro. Oh boy. It's been 7 months since I've done one of these. Fun side game, take a shot every time I say World of Warcraft. Conversations like these seem to pop up at least once a year. A certain game enters a slump for whatever reason. That player base begins to look for alternatives as YouTubers begin to make videos saying X game is dying or X game is now bad. We saw this with Warframe and Destiny not too long ago. Hell, we even did videos on it. What makes this conversation different, though, is that this is World of Warcraft. This is the king of MMOs. This is a video game so popular that it was parodied by South Park, and even people that don't play video games play World of Warcraft. To be fair, World of Warcraft has had this conversation multiple times over its long history. Anytime a dud of an expansion comes out for WoW or a new MMO enters the arena, it starts all over again. Games like Star Wars: The Old Republic, WildStar, and Rift were all called WoW killers at a certain point. For those of us that have been around for a while, we all know how this conversation would usually go. WoW would lose players for a bit. They would move over to this shiny new MMO. Journalists would write clickbait titles such as, "Is this the WoW killer?" Spoiler alert, most of these articles ended with, "Probably not." The players would be there for a bit of time until WoW released new content. Then, like an emotionally abused spouse, these players would return. Sure, a few players would stay with the new game, however, the initial popularity would die. Then the developers would either go free to play to try and regain their audience back from WoW, or do what WildStar did and just die. Again and again, we would have this conversation, but this time, it's different. Unlike the other previously mentioned MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV has been around for a while. Its origin story is legendary in the industry as one of the first to fail at launch but to find success through hard work and a ton of patches and expansions later. It's not some new kid on the block. It's not some starry-eyed newbie MMO released in an oversaturated market. It's been around for a while. It has a dedicated fan base, and those fans are some of the best marketing tools this game has. Looking at you, Zepla.
That's what I think it is, isn't it? Oh my god! What? Oh my god! Oh my god!
So, let's get to the heart of the video. First of all, if you are a WoW player coming to Final Fantasy XIV, welcome. I hope you're having fun. Take your time. It's not World of Warcraft. Enjoy the story, smell the roses, and pet a Lalafell.
Colonel, I'm trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy small, and the clap of my baby shoes keeps alerting the guards.
Secondly, let's address why this newest exodus is happening. Well, it's not actually new. To be fair to World of Warcraft, the exodus of players has been going on for years. A lot of it is frustration with Blizzard and their design choices.
I'm so happy! I'm a happy camper! I love every philosophy the World of Warcraft team spouts, and I absolutely think that it's always in line with the player experience. They absolutely know what they're doing at all times, and I feel great about the people in charge of World of Warcraft right now.
I detect sarcasm.
And this continued disconnect with their community. However, what signals the severity, though, is who is now leading this discourse. You have creators such as Bellular and Asmongold talking about the troubles with World of Warcraft, and even Bellular's move to Final Fantasy XIV. You have all these videos popping up of WoW veterans talking about how they are quitting and moving over to new MMOs. In previous conversations, this would just be, WoW goes through this all the time, wait for the next patch or expansion. However, that conversation has changed. The next patch has come. The next expansion is here. It's Shadowlands. However, looking over the fence, it doesn't seem things are getting better, and Blizzard isn't listening. They're just driving ahead with analytics-driven development and focus on in-game content. Before I move on, I want to clarify something. I will unfortunately have to sour some of the smug looks the Final Fantasy XIV community have been giving lately. Final Fantasy XIV is not killing World of Warcraft. Final Fantasy XIV has never tried to kill World of Warcraft, nor will it. Total Biscuit put it best. The only thing that will kill World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft itself. WoW is a cornerstone of pop culture. I'm sorry. FFXIV is not going to kill it. The power of weebs and diet furries is not that strong. What is killing World of Warcraft is Blizzard and this continued disconnect. It's the same thing that's happening with Digital Extremes and Warframe. It's the same thing with Bungie and Destiny. The developers think they know best, ignore feedback, and only act if people get loud enough. To reiterate, what is killing World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft. Specifically, it's being killed by Blizzard. Moving on, let's talk about the other side of the coin. Final Fantasy XIV has been getting a lot of hype lately, especially with ENDWALKER coming out. Shadowbringers was a massive success. The developers are putting up this strong, community-focused front. If you don't believe me, they paid homage to a community-made meme during a live event. The meme? And the actual dev team at FanFest. So they are the golden children right now, but my Let's Rants might as well be titled, Taylor shows a good example only for it to be a bad example a few months later. Looking at you, CD Projekt. Thanks. Point being, the development team needs to keep doing what they have been doing. They need to continue being community focused, transparent, and not trying to cash in on goodwill. CD Projekt and DE forgot some of that. It doesn't take a business analyst to figure out how that turned out. Point being, the Final Fantasy XIV team are on a high horse, but it doesn't take much to get knocked off. An anti-consumer microtransaction, a horrendous launch, or a massive community disconnect can easily put you in a position where you lose the good graces of your fan base. However, that team has been there. They know how painful it is to regain consumer trust. They know the long road you go on to regain it. They're doing good, but as a community, we need to make sure they keep doing good. Speaking of community, hey Final Fantasy XIV peeps, it's me, that one Dragoon main named Kaishan Malkir on Lamia that refused to wear pants. If you were wondering, I finally started wearing them after ruining a few people's cutscenes. Anyways, as you may have noticed, the community has been getting a lot of new players, and a good number of them are from World of Warcraft. Before I start, 99.99% of the community is super cool, nice, and adorkable weebs. However, I have seen some gatekeeping and people saying, stay over in your toxic community, or they deserve what they got. I want this to serve as a reminder. One of your top content creators is a former WoW player. I myself am a Destiny 2 refugee after everything that happened with Season of the Worthy. A good portion of our fan base are players that left other games and ended up calling this one home. Like the dev team, let's keep doing what we do best, being lovable weebs and being a welcoming community that gets excited when we see new players. Don't revel in World of Warcraft being in a bad place, because at one point, Final Fantasy XIV was the bad MMO. There is a chance we might be again. Instead of laughing, let's be compassionate. Let's open the doors and say, hey, your game is going through a rough patch. Come on in, play with us while they get their act together. If this isn't your thing, that's cool. If this is, come on, let's do some raids and enjoy the music. Final Fantasy XIV is kind of my home game now. I have played more hours than I care to admit. I've gotten to experience the great story and fun content this game has to offer. I've gotten to see just how amazing and welcoming this community can be. I have made so many friends that have shown me just how social and fun this MMO can be. We've adventure, raided, and goofed off together. Some of these friends have become real life friends, and if I have it my way, they'll last a lifetime. All of this doesn't, however, mean I wish ill for World of Warcraft. Actually, I wish the opposite. Like I said before, I'm a Destiny 2 refugee. I know the feeling of watching a game and social experience just go down the drain that you used to love. I know what it's like watching your friends list dwindle and more people say, yeah, I uninstalled it because I don't like playing it anymore. I know the feeling of being on Reddit and their forums trying so hard to get them to fix features that have been broken for years. I know the feeling of seeing the "we are listening" message, knowing they probably aren't. So please believe me when I say I don't wish ill for World of Warcraft. I don't revel in it being in a bad state. I want World of Warcraft to be amazing because the competition will make Final Fantasy XIV devs want to be even more amazing. Competition helps the MMO and video game industry overall. More importantly, I want people to have things they enjoy and places to escape from, especially with how 2020 played out. I want World of Warcraft to do well. With that being said, like with Destiny 2, I learned it's okay to move on. Go watch Zepla's Why I Quit World of Warcraft video. It will be linked below. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just move on and hope you can come back to it being better than ever later down the road. However, with the way Blizzard is right now, I don't see that happening. To my Final Fantasy XIV peeps, especially the 1.0 veterans, you've been through this. We know what these WoW players are feeling. Let's be understanding and let's be the awesome community people keep saying we are. That's all I got.